Welcome to the Something Good podcast, hosted by Renee Mueller, powered by Verly. This is where we interview top business professionals, industry insiders, operational managers, and thought leaders from around the nation, diving into hot current topics to help you experience something good.
So today on the Something Good podcast, we have Mr. Tom Jackson. I think he wears many hats, but we have you here to talk about development in Columbus. And most recently, I think you're leading the charge on Harrah's Casino.
Yes, I am.
So
Correct.
It's official, right?
It's official.
There's been so many months of back and forth. No, it's not really happening. I think it's just a rumor. I heard it was off. I heard this is happening. So give us the scoop.
Well, just to really kick things off, before we start, I'd like to recognize my partners also. I've got 4 partners, Mr. Dan Clary, Mr. Russell Polotzek, Mr. Chad Suka, and most recently the passing of Denny Hall was one of our
very sorry to hear that.
One very good partner of ours. And those guys really, for the last 10 years, have kept horse racing in Columbus. And in order to have a casino and this opportunity, you have to have a horse track. We are one of 6 horse tracks in the state. That
was one of my questions as well. So that was part of the bill that was passed, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And it was the initiative really started in 2020 with getting the initiative on the ballot. It was voted in unanimously in November of 20.
Really?
That's when my life changed.
Wow.
Yeah. So November of 20, and then basically the commission had to form a gaming commission along with the racing commission. So we now have the Nebraska Racing and Gaming Commission, which oversees everything within the casino entity. So what's really important to understand is the time it's taken to get to this point is they had to write rules, regulations, had to go through the state Senate legislatures and all that to get to this point. All that was confirmed, I believe, a year ago now. Then it was a matter of setting plans, design, hiring a casino operator, and those type of things. So it's been 2.5 years, but
isn't that incredible? And it's probably flown by. I mean, because this is, I'm sure, kept you very busy. So
it has, yes, yeah. We're excited for what it can bring to the community.
Yeah, us too. So we're excited to hear more about it, and the design is amazing. So, and I've seen all sorts of following on social. So, when I look at your Facebook pages and some of the other on LinkedIn, it's like everybody's interested, and you've got this huge following already, almost overnight it seems like. So, so the 4 partners then were in part of the horse racing initiative.
Correct.
So, for how long were you guys partners on that? And
the Ag Society gave up horse racing back in 2012, and the reason was they didn't make a mistake or anything. It just horse racing was evolving into other things such as casinos to help subsidize the purse money that goes into horse racing. Okay. And the dynamics, since Nebraska didn't have that to compete with surrounding states like Iowa, Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado, Kansas, Oklahoma, et cetera.
They all had this already?
They all had gaming to subsidize horse racing.
Okay.
So their purse money could be probably 3 times greater than our purse money.
Wow. So
when this initiative came back, the initiative was driven to reignite the horse racing industry in Nebraska, because back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, Nebraska was one of the main entities of horse racing throughout the country. So some of the great Jack Vanberg, the Von Hemos.
Vanberg, of course.
Those people had a lot of horses here. And I remember back in the day in Exarban, there'd be 300-400 buses from Kansas City and Iowa come up.
Yeah, that's a big name.
Even at Columbus here, we had a bunch of buses come up. So the revenue that brings to a community is significant.
So, well, yes, of course. And I was glad to hear that this was taking place and we had the backing of someone like Harrah's versus, what it could have been, because I visited other communities where they had, of course, the casino come in and it was a group of developers. And I think the money tends to stay in the community, at least with a backing of a commercial casino like this. So that's
well, just to walk you kind of through the process that we did. R5 partnership. We formed a partnership to really set a spreadsheet of what we're looking for in this development. And we came up with five things. It has to be a commitment to community, commitment to horse racing, commitment to the patrons with great rewards and marketing, commitment to the entertainment at network, and then the fifth thing was global gaming experience, because really this will grow into a global entity soon.
Of course, yeah. That's amazing. So who came up with those 5 initiatives?
The partnership.
Okay.
Yeah, the 5 of us.
Okay. And how many people did you guys reach out to, or did people start reaching out to you?
We had 5 casino operators reach out to us, and Tara's checked all the boxes. Yeah. They really, their commitment to community, their commitment to, Renee, in all regards, we've had some negativity on this too. Yep. We're not going to make everybody happy with this, but it is a new form of entertainment that the majority of the patrons of Nebraska wanted, and we're going to take advantage of this opportunity to market Columbus, Nebraska, and bring new
put it on the map a little more than what it already is, right?
Making a destiny.
Yes, of course. And so tell me, back to the whole conversation on the purse money, how much of a difference is there between those that have the gaming and not have the gaming?
It's probably 3 to 4 times.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's very significant.
You bet.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And so the next process after you vetted some of these casino operators or the franchises, I guess I should say, and is it a franchise?
Well, so we have the racing license in Nebraska, and that's Columbus Exposition Racing. With that, we have the opportunity to hire a casino operator, and we interviewed the 5. Caesars Entertainment is the global company,
headquarters, or the parent company.
They brand out as Caesars, Horseshoe, Harrah's, Paris. They've got several. Flamingo, I believe, down in Las Vegas. So they've got many different brands, and they felt the Harrah's brands is best in Columbus.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's, they obviously did their research on the demographics and all that good stuff, but and we've had some outreach from folks who are in Council Bluffs and looking to relocate. Some of the management and marketing, and very strong people. Very strong personalities, so I can tell they're going to be great leaders, which is amazing. And I'm sure that's probably why they're looking at coming here and starting, from scratch with this. So, so there were 6, you said, in Nebraska racetracks in operation, all in operation?
Well, right now, Fauner Park leads the way. We have to race 52 days a year so that we can simulcast races from out of state into Nebraska.
Okay.
Right now, we've been running simulcast operations for, 52 weeks a year, every weekend out at Ag Park. So you have to run, all the tracks have to run a cumulative 52 days. Fauner Park's running about 35. We're running about 10 to 15. Omaha and Lincoln are filling in the rest, as well as South Sioux City. Okay.
So of the 6 that were in Nebraska, how many actually paired with gaming and are
the Warhorse, Omaha and Lincoln, and South Sioux City. Warhorse is Omaha, Lincoln, and South Sioux City are owned by the HBPA, the Nebraska Horsemen's Benevolent.
That's hard to say.
Yeah, protective agency. And they partner with the Ho-Chunk Indians and called it Warhorse.
Yep.
Grand Island is partnering with Elite Casinos out of Iowa.
Okay.
Hastings, Fairplay Park, they haven't selected an operator yet.
Hastings is getting a casino then.
Well, they're in the process. Okay. They have the racing license there.
Okay.
They're working through some things with their community, their city, their county, and all that type of stuff. So, they're working through that process to get that done.
Okay.
And then South Sioux City is also owned by the Warhorse or Ho-Chunk Inc.
Yep. And so that's the one that I visited, which, of course, I think they've got a great development arm, very impressive with what they've done. And so, that's obviously ran by that particular, reservation and group. And so, that was, like I said, very impressive to visit there and just see the differences. And this was back in, I think, 2019, when I went with a group from the chamber, just researching it, looking at, what the possibilities are and what could we expect and, certain things like that. So, So the conversation, I guess, around the 6 in Nebraska that had those licenses that partnered with someone for gaming or a casino for gaming, quadruples the purse, it sounds like. Which communities? Were there more than one that did not get the
no,
casino?
The 6 are Omaha, Lincoln, South Sioux City, which is with the HBPA.
Okay.
Grand Island, Hastings, and finally us.
Okay.
So those are the 6.
Okay. And so Grand Island just opened.
Correct.
Yep. It's phenomenal. Heard very good things about it. I mean, I've received pictures and people that have visited. And so community leaders have been there. A lot of tax
revenue coming in for the community. Yeah. One of the goals for this casino gaming operation is reduce property taxes here in Nebraska. Yep. Out of the gross gaming dollars, 20% goes to the state. Out of that 20%, 70% is geared toward property tax relief.
Okay.
2.5% is for problem gaming programs. 2.5% goes to the general fund. And then the balance, 25%, is split between the city and the county with where the track lies.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. So is it mandatory that you have to have a certain percentage to assist with like counseling addiction?
Well, there's 2.5% to that.
Okay.
And, whatever's done above and beyond is usually through the casino operator.
Okay.
And Harris is a leader in...
I've read that. That's why I'm asking.
Very much so.
Yeah.
They've got problem gaming. They've got it covered.
Okay.
They want this to be entertainment. They don't want it to be a problem.
Right. Yeah. So I think that the issue with most is that they don't realize that you need more people in order to have some relief on your taxes, right. and so, I mean, obviously this is going to help with that. The highway between here and Omaha is almost complete, the 4-lane, which is phenomenal. So driving to Grand Island is atrocious. And I just had this conversation with a developer yesterday who was in our office talking about several different things related to development in Grand Island, what the casino has done, some of the property values around there as far as land and everybody who wants to then develop something else, right. And how much that traction has created more traction, which is amazing. So how many of those 6 are open now? Do you know?
Right now, just casino-wise, it's Lincoln and Grand Island.
Okay.
And we're going through the process. We will have a Nebraska Racing and Gaming. We are hosting the commission meeting next Friday, April 14th. We went through all the processes of laying out plans, interviews for, all the structural things, right. As well as employees, security and surveillance, you name it. They've done a great job of answering all the concerns, and we're going to have a temporary out at Ag Park, hopefully open about the 1st of June.
Okay.
Yep. And then...
Good timing for some events that might be taking place in June. So I'll be talking with you about one of them after this. So.
Yeah. And then we hope to, about a year from now, be open at the new place.
A year from now? That seems really quick. I wondered. I figured it'd be, maybe the end of 24. But
no, we're going to, we'll open up a year from now.
Wow.
That's the benchmarks that Caesars has put on the construction company. And they've already laid foundations. Big benchmark tomorrow is steel arrives to put up the core of the building.
We should get the drone out.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be coming up real soon. And then it's just a matter of building. We'll start the new racetrack out there this month also, get that prepared. And then we will run one more season here at Ag Park. And then 2024, we'll run the new racetrack out at Wishbones. Okay.
Wonderful. So as far as some of the events that usually take place at Ag Park, like during the summer, is that off then?
No. Well, so Harrah's has reached an agreement with Ag Park to lease the event hall. Okay. Ag Park can still lease out. I believe they had a big pool tournament over the weekend or a couple weekends ago where they put the pool tournament up in the old club room.
Okay.
So they have places to still lease out, but the main event hall is strictly going to be a casino now.
Okay, good deal. A year from now, that is incredible. So you guys have the timeline laid out as far as hiring and everything else.
Yes.
Okay. And I think last time you were here, Tom, you told us that there were 50 or so employees that Harrah's is bringing from headquarters, or?
Well, no, there's 50 employees just getting ready for the casino operation. There's probably a good 25 management, and there are several, like you said, reaching out to you for homes
Yeah,
here
right.
in the area. I know they just hired a surveillance guy who's transferring from California to
Wow.
Nebraska.
Ooh, that's going to be culture shock.
Well, and I think they realize that quality of living,
Yeah, of course.
cost of living
Right.
is much better here,
Yes.
and they'll grow within the Caesars operation. So they like to promote within, but they'll give local people an opportunity to grow within the company.
I've seen
also.
hiring. That's where on the social platforms, there's all
Yes.
sorts of hiring. Big events that you guys are having
I think
for
they're
hiring.
having one today, actually.
Really, I'm anxious to see how that turns out. So how
Yeah.
many people you have, and so with all the excitement, usually it's people want to be part of something that's
Sure.
new and big and exciting, and
You bet.
so that's really good.
In fact, I was eating lunch up in town north of here, and the waitress said she recognized me from whatever with the casino, and she asked when the hiring was going to start. She's interested in working down here.
Really, she didn't ask for your autograph or anything.
So, I don't need
That's
any
pretty
autographs.
cool.
I'm not that
You're
popular.
recognized. That's amazing, Tom. That's good. Yeah, I hope for great success with that event. So, so there's a restaurant that's going to be part of the
Correct.
casino. I'm
Yes.
excited mostly for that because we need more eateries. And I know that there's
Yes.
more to come. If someone pulls the trigger, again, that traction creates more traction. So, just waiting for that. So tell us about that.
Well, so the casino will have approximately the new casino will have approximately 500 slot machines. They'll have up to 20 gaming tables, the blackjack tables, roulette.
Ooh, how do you select those?
Caesars does that. I don't.
We need a war table.
A what?
A war table.
Oh, really? Well, I would have known. Yeah. So they select the games. More of the gaming is going electronic now.
Yeah, it is.
And when you go to Las Vegas, you see more machines than actual tables. But we'll still have those table games. They will have a Brew Brothers brand restaurant. It'll seat, I believe, 200 inside and about 150 outside.
Wow.
So the main piece of the track and casino will be our apron out in front of the racetrack. So there'll be some outdoor dining out there. We'll have a grandstand, seats about 500 with another 200 up in a VIP section where we can have meetings and other events.
How big are those areas up there?
It'll be enough for 200 people.
Really?
Upstairs in the VIP area.
How do you get to be a VIP?
Well, it's anybody who wants to buy a table.
There you go. Okay.
You're a VIP.
Just checking.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
cool.
But we're hoping to have some meetings up there. Maybe some small weddings or events.
Maybe you could
or
sponsor a room.
graduations. You can sponsor the room, whatever you want to do.
Get some branding up there, maybe.
There you go.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, they'll be looking for that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to have a hotel on the property
Right.
also. It'll be a Marriott brand, Fairfield Suites, Townhill Suites.
Okay. Is that starting
combo.
in conjunction with?
That is. And
Okay.
and they both will be done at the same time.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Yeah, we need that for sure. I mean,
No doubt.
in talking with some people at the Visitors Bureau and some other folks in leadership, there's so many events that are planned, even just this summer, looking at the numbers of people coming in that,
Right.
there's no place to stay.
Right.
So, and talking with this developer that I was talking with yesterday that came in from GI, actually, just looking at how fortunate Columbus is, number one, because they also do some development. And I don't even know if I should mention this, Tom, but they do some development between Grand Island and Norfolk.
Mm-hmm.
And, looking at how beneficial this is for Columbus and how the prices differ, of course, in Norfolk and Columbus anyway, but how much they would have loved to have something like this.
Sure.
And, how that's affected the development a little bit, just because, again, we have that traction here.
It's kind of ironic that you mentioned that. And I've had the opportunity to confront this. Everybody now wants a casino, but for so many years they didn't want to have a horse track. So the way the statute and the law is written is you have to have a horse track to do a casino. And right now we don't have enough horses in this in this area to add more cities for more horse racing.
Oh, that makes sense. I did not know that. There's a shortage of horses?
There's a shortage of horses. And when Nebraska's horse population died is when other states picked up and were able to offer more purse monies to the horsemen. So they go to other states to breed horses.
Really?
And then Nebraska fell apart. We dropped down to about 25 horses a year We're up over 150 now.
Really?
And,
do you think that's because of the cost to maintain them, or?
Well, there's cost and purse money. These people run. I mean, it costs to maintain an animal throughout the year,
right.
and if you're only running for $5,000 to $10,000 when you can run
makes
$25,000 to $40,000 somewhere else, they'll go somewhere else.
That makes sense. Yeah, for sure.
So it's economically driven.
Okay. Well, I mean, that makes sense. So, yeah. Well, how many casinos, or I'm sorry, not how many casinos, how many states are there left where gaming is illegal?
Oh man, I couldn't tell you. I know, I'm not even sure how to answer.
Right?
Yeah, there's,
Megan's going to Google
it.
Seems
like everywhere, everywhere seems to have it now.
I stumped him. See?
Yeah,
I asked a question you didn't know the answer
to. I've been focusing on Nebraska.
Yeah, well, of course, and that's good. That's what we want you to focus on. So,
yeah.
We, like I said, are very appreciative of the things that you guys have done. I know how much work it is. And again, just talking to this developer yesterday about trying to push forward with some housing.
Yeah.
And that's a big issue for us. And we've been working probably about the same length of time on pushing forward with a development. And, it all goes back to the cost, just like, maintaining horses, and you're going to other states. And this is what's happening with development is, so many things have changed. And it's not just Columbus, but, the cost of materials and the shortage of materials and the, of course, the interest rates, and people are all sorts of, questioning the economy and what's happening, so, my hope is that we can push forward together with this other developer and really have some answers for some of these people that need a place to stay, because we, not only are, we short on inventory of properties for sale, but properties for rent, right now there's just nothing.
How many properties for rent are we short? I've heard
thousands.
Yeah,
Tom, we could build. So for instance, the last development that was done was Flats on the Fifth. Mm-hmm. We could build a complex like that, which I think is around 200. I'm going to get this probably wrong. I don't know the exact number. Just short of 100, I think is what they are, units. And we could have built another 5 years, those projects, and been fine. Full. We'd be fine. We have that kind of demand, and it's going to continue as, again, that 4-lane between here and Omaha is completed. Right. Projects like this are being done. The commercial projects have just exploded all over Columbus, and so we really, really, really are in desperate need of it. And some of the employers that I've spoken with are looking at, moving the jobs elsewhere, to be honest with you. Sure. Just, you're expanding by 400 jobs and there's not enough places for those people to go. And, we get calls all the time, regarding, do you have a basement that someone will rent out, or, right. And so, my father-in-law was joking with me recently, well, how much can I get for my basement? It's like, oh my gosh, no, we're not going to go here.
We got calls from the construction company.
Yeah.
For several of the managers of it have rented homes here, and we worked with a couple of the hotels to get them, very weekly rates, monthly rates, and all those type of things to, get that economic opportunity.
Right. We want to keep it here. That's the thing. And I know that there's a higher percentage of people than I even knew that drive. Yes. So, I was really surprised when we looked at that study as well. But I think that's also due to no options, right. And so right now the prices are extremely high, and they always have been with regard to rentals. I mean, I've had investment real estate in Columbus for over 20 years, but they've always been on the high side, which is good if you're, an owner operator. Right. But I think that they've reached, really a level of, being almost insane in some cases. Yeah. And so, again, my hope is that we can get a hold of this, but he's also done some great things. This developer I was visiting with in Grand Island and gives accolades to the casino opening there and some of the things that they've done. So we'll push forward on that and hopefully have some answers in the next 30 days, I would think.
Well, we're looking at some development already out in that area. A truck Bosselman truck stop is planning on putting.
I've heard rumors, but I didn't know that was true.
Well, I know
this is like sitting with John. He's going to tell me everything that's happening.
Well, I know they've come to town with the old off campus and purchased that, and part of that was to hopefully put something out there. Good. There's also rumors of a new event hall going across the street and another steakhouse and those type of things. Yep. So
steakhouse, I've heard almost indefinitely, great resources that I've heard it from. So I would think that's probably going to happen. But so we definitely need an event center for sure. Yes. So, and I was thinking maybe, partially, I don't have all the details on the hotel either, but I thought maybe part of it was like a convention center or something.
Well, the problem out there, we were hoping to get that where that TV or communication tower is, that land, but it's pretty costly to move that.
Yep.
And they didn't want to sell. So we still have 40 acres out there to expand.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, good to know.
40 acres to expand on some new business.
Okay, wonderful. And that's really what you want to ear tag it for then?
Well, we want it, everything we're trying to do is pushing ag,
right?
Ag programs and all that. We're going to be heavily involved in supporting 4-H, ag park, the breeding of horses around here to just enhance and reignite the ag program that this opportunity can drive.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Did you think of anything yet, Megan?
Concerts?
Well, so concerts, we're going to be able to tap into the Caesars network. They are one of the, I'm not sure we're going to get Adele or
that's just
what
I was going to ask.
Or something like that. But Caesars or Harrah's has Stir Cove down in Council Bluffs, which, they do a lot of concerts there. We've got the Harrah's people working with the Ag Park people for the fair to bring some good entertainment. So we're hoping, maybe something weekly or bi-weekly or
that would be awesome. I mean,
good entertainment.
Yeah, and I think is it Exarban in Omaha that they have the concerts at outside?
I believe that's down by the old.
They have a huge
Omaha
turnout.
Area. Yes.
Okay, I love that. Yeah. So that would
Jazz
be great.
on the Green.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that would be phenomenal. I think get a good draw.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. So we're working on something similar to Rockin' on the Runway. So we're gonna partner with whoever's having the concert and have this big run and get some more attendees.
I think we can visit on the future with that. I know the airport probably is going to be reluctant to allow those things anymore.
Yes.
Which is unfortunate, but the way the world is, I can understand it also. But we'll have an entity out at the new place to bring some of that quality entertainment to this community.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So we're looking at pairing with I'm sorry, what's the run called, Megan? I should know this.
Beer and Bagel.
Well, beer and bagel is one of them, and then there's always the I think it's Rock and Roll series. Rock and Roll.
I'm not a runner.
So you're not, I know. So I've done 2 or 3 of these, and I think they're just called the Rock and Roll series is what they are.
Okay.
So
like the ones that are going out at Ramada that they're doing?
They're doing, I don't know. Are they doing some out there?
Well, there's a gentleman that brought some bands out at Ramada. Yeah, he advertises quite a bit.
So this would be so Rockin' on the Runway, that I mentioned, that was one the concert that we had 10, 15 years ago. And so having those, any sorts of concerts, I think you're going to draw a crowd. I mean, during Columbus Days, there's always a great crowd downtown, when they have the bands down there. But this would be you're going to laugh when I say this, Tom. This is the running portion of the Rock and Roll series runs.
Okay.
So Vegas, I've done Vegas 2 or 3 times. It's fun.
Running series.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay.
So you pair up a half marathon or a full marathon with a concert series.
I see.
And when I've done the Vegas one, it's at night on the
Strip.
Yeah, on the Strip. Yep. Jeez, I'm like a loss for words all of a sudden. So it's on the Strip and it's at night. That's one of the most fun I've ever done. But every other state has them, except for Nebraska. So.
Right. Well, we look forward to that because we're going to have a running trail. We're committed to the city. We'll have one in front and surrounding the property.
That's great to know.
That will run down the parkway and everything else. We're connecting up to their.
I love that. So similar to what's all over Northwest Columbus, really, with the the cart trails.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're looking for great, grand ideas to just promote Columbus, bring them
we'll
to
fill
this
them up.
community and spend their money.
Good. That's amazing. Awesome. Well, this is exciting. So anything else you want to add, Tom?
I'm looking forward to just getting it open.
We are too.
That's that's going to be the biggest challenge. I think the new facility, the temporary facility out at Ag Park, people will be shocked when we see this place.
Really? And when is that?
We'll open that up in about 1st of June.
Oh, yeah, you did say that. I'm sorry, 1st of June.
Yeah, we're going to have a temporary casino out there. 250 slot machines, very limited space, but we'll give a little taste until the new place is open. And they're putting some Caesar's investing in the community already. They're putting some high upgrades onto Ag Park that they just hadn't been able to afford in the past.
Yeah, and I think that's wonderful too, because it really has needed it, obviously.
Oh,
and that's has been the only other question I think I've heard is what happens with Ag Park when you guys leave?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. The Ag Society is in communication with several people about purchasing that property and moving. You got to remember it's an 80-year-old facility. Yeah. Any changes in operation, they have to redo it to code. Mm-hmm. So when Caesars took this on, they had to meet new codes to just be in compliance with government rules and that. So I'm not sure what they're going to do with it. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there. I believe it's 100 acres of good commercial space, possibly. And I could foresee, with your vision, I could foresee like an Exarban Village going out there.
Agreed, completely. It's right in the middle, really, of town. I mean, a little more on the east side, but yeah, I think it's a great location.
I think it'd be great for like an Amazon to even come in, or some type of warehouse to, since the railroad tracks are right there, and
easy
in and
access.
out and those type of things. So there's a lot of opportunities for that property. I do know the Ag Society has talked about moving to a new place just to have the fair in that.
Right.
And, I wish them success. And I think Hera's renting that place for what they're paying is giving them the opportunity to look to the future.
That's wonderful, really.
Enhancing their already great 4-H program.
So, Tom, I wanted to bring up the process of the beginning stages with the casino and how the city, county, how everyone in leadership worked with you and your crew to get this launched.
You bet. The city, Mayor Bulkley, City Administrator Tara Voschek, City Council, the Planning Development, they, is some good meetings with Mayor Bulkley and Tara. Also, the Platte County Board of Supervisors. Both of those entities will benefit from this opportunity in Nebraska. Again, we're one of 6, and not often a community can have an operation like this invest well over $100 million into new property, plus give tax dollars back to the community that they'll be able to thrive on.
So who did you, or how did you guys reach out to this group in the beginning? I mean, what were the stages of that?
Well, we've always, for the last 10 years, when we were struggling to keep horse racing alive, we welcome the leadership of the Ag Society to the mayor, the city council, to the Platte County Board of Supervisors. Just come out and see what we've got. Then interest really perked up when this initiative got on the ballot to vote in. And, over 2/3 of the community or the people of Nebraska wanted this new form of gaming to come to the community. So they were receptive once they understood what the benefits would be to growing Columbus.
And between you and Harrah's, you guys laid that out for them?
No, see, we laid that out before we even hired Harrah's.
Okay.
So, the initiative was in November of 2020. I believe it was November 4th. Mayor Bulkley texted me that night and said, "Hey, it went through. What's the plan?" And we got together with him and Tara and just laid out how we're looking for this. Where are we going to do it? How are we going to do it?
I was going to say, did you have a site in mind already?
We were, at that point, the Ag Society was looking to move out of there just because of the facility being as old as it was. So we realized if we're going to have horse racing, we're going to have to find some new land. So we did. We went out and looked at some land around the area. The 5 operators that we had really did not like the Ag Park property, just where it was,
right,
by a cemetery, by railroad tracks, and those type of things. So we took that advice, went out and looked at some property, and came up with the Wishbones area, and the community worked with us to get all the I's dotted, T's crossed to get it zoned and platted and all those type of things. So they've been very receptive in recognizing the opportunity and how it's going to help Columbus.
Good. That is awesome to hear. So knowing how much work it was going to be, would you have any change of heart, Tom, or anybody in your group?
I traveled for about 35 years consulting for pharmacies all over the country, and I was ready to retire. And then this opportunity came up, and it was a full-time job. I didn't think it was going to be, but it was a full-time job, just making sure the contracts and there's a lot of compliance that you have to do for gaming in itself. A lot of things to learn, but it's been a great challenge. Would I do it again? Absolutely.
Would you?
No doubt.
Well, that's great to hear.
That's great to hear. When you see the light at the end of the tunnel, what it's going to do to better Columbus, I've got that vision, and I know for a fact that it worked in other areas like Altoona, Iowa, where Prairie Meadows racetrack is. Back in the day, they were close to bankruptcy, and they got the gaming initiative passed over in Iowa. They're one of the top thriving racetracks in the country now, and it's grown Altoona from a town of about 6,000 to over 25,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So can you gauge that? Can you gauge the growth? Like, say in Columbus, are you thinking?
We're, I've done that with the help of Mayor Bulkley and Tara, and just guesstimating more than anything else. We're about 22,000 right now.
I think the last census put us closer to 30, maybe.
Are we that much?
I could be wrong, but I was thinking maybe it was 25. I'm so sorry. Maybe it was 25.
The sign on the board.
I know. Well, that sign for a long time has needed to be replaced. So yes.
Right. So I predict in 10 years we'll be in that 35 to 40 range.
Really?
I think. Wow. It's going to drive some opportunity here.
We need housing.
Yeah.
Well, I know. That's exactly right. We need some housing.
That's the biggest task that people, what are you going to do with employees? What are you going to do with people? What are you going to do with housing and all those type of things? So, I've been active with leadership, the chamber. The chamber has been fantastic to work with also. I believe the leadership of this community has a vision to at least tackle it. Now, putting it to work and making it happen is the next challenge.
Yes, exactly. It's a whole different story.
And as a developer yourself, it's you've got the vision. Right. Now you got to execute it.
That's exactly right. So, and we're pushing forward with that. And I would agree, the chamber has been very instrumental in helping to at least have some meeting of the minds and what can we do and coming up with some ideas on that, surrounding that, and so it's just one step at a time. But we definitely have. Yeah, we have to tackle that issue because we're on the cusp
just across the street from you guys, that place being full of homes and west and east.
You got it. You got it. You got it. More to come on that. I really 30 days from now want to say, Tom, in a year we're going to launch the same time. So let's have a ribbon cutting together.
I'll do it. Let's love to. But the community leadership has been very supportive of this, and they realize the opportunity, and it doesn't come too often.
That's exactly right. And I'm glad that they were able to take advantage of that. So, and you obviously were instrumental in that, and the group was instrumental in that. So I commend you for that. And I'm sure, like we started this whole conversation with, you can't please everyone. I'm sure you've had a great deal of opposition, and hopefully some of that has eased a little bit, but.
Well, it has. And we've addressed it. Even the neighborhoods were concerned about having a horse track or a casino in their neighborhood and those type of things. And we've made alterations and changes to minimize their concerns and worries. People don't have to come out to gamble. They could come out to eat, entertainment. We're just hoping to bring them out to an area that is something unique and different that only 6 cities have in Columbus.
Yeah.
Or in the state.
Yeah, in Nebraska. Yeah, in Columbus. Yeah. We'll be there soon enough, Tom. So one thing I have to add to that is in thinking about some of your neighbors. So if you would sort of point all of your speakers for all those concerts over towards Chris and Aaron Nahorny's house, that would be great.
Well, they were the first
I told them, look for all the lights and the sound. And
it's kind of funny because her dad is a very close friend of mine and uncle as well. And they had some concerns at the beginning. And you don't run from dealing with that. You have to
take it head on.
You have to listen to them. You have to talk and make changes and respect their property as well. So we did a lot of that, explaining where you know, the technology. I mean, right now you can hear probably from here, the race cars over at Duncan at night on a clear night.
Exactly. Yeah, you can.
You know, and those type of things.
Yeah.
So we're going to minimize all the concerns and just make sure people can enjoy life rather than worry about, you know, knick-knacky little.
Yes, exactly. There will always be something, as you know, but yeah, I'm glad that you can face those head on too and address them. So good. Well, awesome. Well, like I said, I appreciate everything. I appreciate you coming in and spending this time with us, and I'm sure you'll be back. I can't wait to hear. So we'll have to schedule something for closer to June. So
we'll do it right after we open the temporary. I'll be happy to, and I'll make sure you guys are invited out. And then when we open the new place, trust me, you'll be our VIP guest.
All right.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Tom.